The earth recovered from this as best it could, but the land was not as abundant or as beautiful as it had been. As the spirits healed themselves in the earth, they tried to return to their own ways and find some joy again. Even so, they had scars they weren't able to heal yet. In seeking their old ways, they also sought old friends, and when many of them could not be found, they felt a growing sense of things not being right on earth. The spirits of earth had not encountered death before, and they did not know what they were encountering then, but they had a persistent feeling that they needed to find their friends to know what had happened to them. In their search, they found a spirit on earth who had not been there before. When the earth spirits of Pan found him, they did not know what he was or what he was doing, but they knew that they feared him. He said he was a powerful wizard who had come to earth to help heal earth because he had experience with the hot, dry wind. He lied here. He did not come to heal the earth, but he did have experience with the hot, dry wind. He was its master. He told them that the hot, dry wind was all that was left of an entire universe that had destroyed itself with the raging fire of its own destructive anger. The dark wizard sought to gain control of earth. He had seen that it could serve his purpose to hit earth with this hot, dry wind, and thus bring this destructive anger to earth and fan its flames into another inferno. He also had to increase the density of earth quickly, or he could not stay. In trying to shrink away from the attack of the hot, dry wind, the earth and everything on it had increased its density. As soon as he arrived on earth, the dark wizard began to ceaselessly frighten every spirit into shrinking away from him in denial of the reality he had brought to earth. He set about squelching everything expansive, and he had helpers. I want you to know that the dark wizard is about to find himself removed from the earth because his flames of destructive anger have reached the potential for nuclear holocaust. He cannot succeed in destroying the earth because the earth itself does not want to be destroyed. I will tell you more now about what the dark wizard did to gain control in Pan. The dark wizard unabashedly told everyone that their missing friends had been eaten. When he saw their horrified response, he denied their horror by saying everyone had accepted this on his planet because they knew how to share energy and become one with each other in a way that Earth hadn't learned yet. He acted more knowing than anyone and said that it was only fair to take turns being and being food for those who were being. He said it was time for Earth to do this. The dark wizard had brought with him many spirits who had not been on Earth before. These spirits had entered forms already present on Earth. As the dark wizard spoke, he pointed his finger at some of these spirits, and beings who had not done this before began fighting, killing, and eating each other. This was frightening and strange. Until then, no one on Earth had ever eaten anything other than what had manifested solely to be eaten. No one had overpowered another against their will to this extent on Earth before. These spirits were fighting, overpowering others, and disappearing them by eating them. The spirits being eaten were screaming with pain and terror. This traumatized the spirits on Earth. The dark wizard said they were screaming in ecstasy and denied that any of these spirits had overpowered the forms they had entered. He said that they were well received because many wanted to learn this lesson. The warriors liked fighting, and even though they maintained a stoic presentation, the earth spirits feared that the warriors liked this. The earth spirits felt very alone and afraid. The dark wizard denied everything the earth spirits felt here by saying that these beings were only becoming one with each other. Then he said, "How could it be overpowering? It's impossible to overpower anyone against their will." He was right, but only if there is no denial present. Once denial of true feelings got started, it increased until it began to overwhelm the very spirits who had thought denial would protect them from being overwhelmed. In the beginning of Pan, denial was not extensive. The dark wizard had his work cut out for him. He did not mind, though. He was driven by rage and hatred for me and my creation. He was intent on increasing denial and density as much as he could, and the spirits he brought with him helped him do this. I call these spirits denial spirits because denial fuels them. These spirits had been helping the denial wizard everywhere he went. Now, on Earth, they began helping him deny everything that could be denied. At first, they began by telling everyone things that undermined their free will. I will give you an example of their approach, and you will have to do your own homework on this. If a denial spirit were to lie down on a path through the woods, and another spirit came running, hopping, skipping, and jumping along, the denial spirit would jump up and scream, "You cannot come running right through the place where I am lying." If the other spirit said, "I'm sorry, this is a path and I wasn't expecting you to be lying there," without any acknowledgement that he might be the one who needs to move, the denial spirit would say, "Sorry isn't enough. You might have stepped on me. Find another path." If the spirit said it would not have stepped on the other spirit because it would have noticed in time, the denial spirit would have denied the earth spirit's sensitivity, attunement, ability to notice in time, and anything else it could deny on the spot. If the spirit did anything other than abdicate to the denial spirit would continue to deny everything presented to it. When some earth spirits tried telling these denial spirits to leave, they denied their right to do this, claiming they had been there all along and had as much right to be on earth as anyone else. What they said was true, as far as it went. Denial had been there all along, unrecognized, but these spirits only mentioned what furthered them, and there were many things about the situation that the spirits on earth were afraid to look at very closely, let alone feel. It was very upsetting to them to remember much of what had happened around the hot, dry wind or the spirits who had begun to fight, kill, and eat one another. They doubted their own perceptions and wondered how much had been happening all along that they hadn't let themselves notice. I have seen and heard all of this, and I have understanding and acceptance of denial spirits. Denial spirits cannot do anything with you unless you have denial they can use. Since Earth had denial happening already, these spirits had an opportunity to gain a foothold. In gaining a foothold, they had an opportunity to increase the denial on Earth. And because of the unseen role of denial, the spirits on Earth were not able to resolve this. I have studied denial spirits for a long time in order to understand them, and I'm having to teach this to Earth because Earth has become very confused by the presence of so many denial spirits. Every kind of spirit has had to face denial spirits. Denial spirits have taken every form there is and reflected the denial of every kind of spirit. Denial gave form to these spirits, and when denial ends, these spirits will no longer be present on Earth. In the meantime, as you end your own denials, they will trouble you less and less. If the spirit on the path in the woods had had no denial, he would not have gotten entangled in any denial there. He could have continued running, leaped over the denial spirit, and been gone. In this case, the earth spirit's denials had grown big enough that the denial spirit had become an intimidating form. There were many denials present there, but the imbalance my light wants to mention now is that not wanting anyone to spoil his good time had become turned around in this spirit to not thinking it was all right to spoil anyone else's good time. Then, the spirits on Earth did not have enough experience to know who was meant to be on Earth and who was not. Because there has been both denial spirits and loving essence mistakenly denied, many spirits on Earth have been confused about how they really feel here and have tried to figure out how they should feel. Ending your own denials is going to allow you to sort this out. Those who do not belong on Earth are being directed by my light to their right place. Everything has its right place, where it's not any problem to be the way it is. Everyone on Earth has had misunderstandings about loving acceptance that caused them to think they had to pressure themselves to accept things they did not like and refrain from expressing any other feelings about it. Only now have Earth spirits seen enough to be able to understand this. Then they try to accept everything as just another spirit's way. The basic denial that allowed denial spirits to take advantage of Earth was denial of me. My presence was denied here. For a long time, I have not been able to give the understandings I wanted to give. I need to give them now. After the original entry of the hot, dry wind and the denial wizard's introduction of physical death through overpowering, the spirits in Pan experienced another event that greatly increased denial. The denial wizard began challenging everyone to duels of magic, as he called them. There were many wizards on Earth then, and for the most part, only wizards accepted his challenges. The denial wizard defeated everyone who accepted his challenge. He won by denying the validity of the other wizards' approaches and insisting that the duels had to be conducted according to his rules. A number of wizards saw his duel for what it was and refused his challenge. Some of these wizards saw him gaining power on Earth and thought that he must be stopped. There were also many other spirits on Earth who feared he was gaining power and wanted him stopped. Others denied their fear by saying he wasn't such a bad guy after all. Some said his power gain was only an illusion that they weren't going to believe in. Spirits increased their denial in many ways and looked at less of what was really happening on Earth because they did not like seeing and feeling what the denial wizard was doing. This gave the denial wizard a lot of space and a lot of denial energy on which to feed.